Selling your home can be one of the most financially important decisions that you can make, and whether to attempt to sell it yourself as a for sale by owner or by hiring a real estate professional has been long debated. Either way, we found that there are certain steps that are absolutely necessary when selling a home. And the question is, do you make the attempt to do it yourself or do you hire an experienced agent to assist you? Can you perform your own car repairs? Sure. Can you give yourself a haircut? You can do that too. But depending on the results that you expect, sometimes it may be better to let someone that's been trained to assist you. It's a big decision to make. So today we're going to cover the steps necessary to prepare, market, and sell a home and some insights on where you can do it yourself and compare it to hiring a professional. At the end of the video, you can determine which option is better for you. So let's go ahead and get started. How's it going, everyone? My name is Rick Cantville, and I'm a realtor here in the Charlotte, North Carolina area, and I'd like to welcome you back to our channel. Today, we're going to be sharing some valuable tips on how to sell your home and what to prepare for if you decide to go the for sale by owner route or hiring a real estate agent. Now, I can't speak for all real estate offices out there, but I can speak to what our office provides as part of a listing package as a comparison. If you feel that this information helps you, please tap the like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on future content. So let's go ahead and get started with a few basics, and that is to prepare your home by decluttering and depersonalizing. Decluttering a home is important since it gives the appearance of a more open space and creates a positive impression. A decluttered house is also easier to clean, which does save you time and effort. But depersonalizing can be a little bit more difficult since we're all attached to the pictures of our kids, our trophies and awards, or our hobby projects. But depersonalizing is important because potential buyers want to envision what their own items would look like in the house. So giving your home a blank canvas appearance is very important. Depersonalizing is all about making the home as appealing and relatable to as many potential buyers as possible. If you are considering the for sale by owner route, this may be a little bit more difficult than you think because we do get attached to our personal belongings and it's difficult to box those items up. But thankfully, decluttering and depersonalizing can be done at a very low or no cost to you. As a comparison, we do offer a free consultation with a professional just to make sure that you get on the right track. And if you need assistance with this and you're in the Charlotte area, I'll go ahead and leave the contact info for the company that we use in the description below. The next tip is regarding home repairs and improvements. Depending on the condition of the home, you may want to spend some time and attention on a few key aspects of the home. One of the most important is the curb appeal. Spending some time clearing old plants or bushes away from the house, mowing the lawn, planting fresh flowers, or painting the railings can give a fresh look to the home. And it's the first thing that potential buyers are going to see when they visit the home. Now, inside the home, if you have rooms that have really bold color patterns, or if the paint has some age to it, it may be worth adding fresh paint in a neutral color. This makes the space look brighter and larger, which is more appealing to a buyer. Now, completing minor repairs will also be something you'll want to consider prior to selling the home. Little things like leaky faucets, burned out lights, squeaky doors, and cracked tiles can turn off a potential buyer. Having these issues repaired lets the buyer know that the home has been cared for. Now, the cost associated with these items is a cost that you're probably going to incur anyway, whether you hire an agent or opt to sell it yourself. But an experienced agent can provide some insights as to what is and what may not be important when completing repairs. Just keep in mind that putting a few dollars into upgrading and improving can add a lot of value to the home and give it that appearance that it's been cared for and may ultimately reflect a higher selling price. Now, depending on the age and condition of the property, we may recommend getting the home professionally inspected prior to advertising the home for sale. If there's issues with the home, it's a good idea to be aware of them first prior to deciding on a final sale price. In my opinion, if a buyer discovers an issue before you do, you may lose negotiating power during the selling process. Plus, it will give you the opportunity to fix any issues if you choose and will assist in pricing your home accordingly. If you elect to pay for a home inspection, you can expect to pay between $350 and $1,000, depending on the size of the home and the inspection company. Again, this is something that our company offers in our listing package, and our clients find it to be very helpful and informative. Okay, so now that you've worked on the curb appeal, you've painted, and you've completed your minor repairs, the next tip would be to get professional pictures taken of the home. Now, you can take pictures with your cell phone, but keep in mind that nearly 95% of the time, pictures posted online are a buyer's very first introduction to the home. So we consider great pictures to be essential. In addition, if your property has some acreage to it, including a drone image or a video would also be very helpful. We also recommend having a walkthrough video done so buyers kind of get a feel for the home as if they're walking through. Lastly, if you're unsure of the square footage of the home, professional measurements are also recommended. Oftentimes, the company that takes the real estate photos can also get the house measurements. Now, the cost of getting professional images, videos, and measurements can vary, but we feel that, again, is very essential. It is included in our listing package as a service we provide. As a comparison, when selling the property yourself, you will need to spend the time to find a company and incur the cost of the pictures, videos, and measurements yourself. The next important task is figuring out your selling price. A common mistake for homeowners selling on their own is setting their asking price higher than the market value. Now, this can happen because they hope to get more than the house is worth, or because they inaccurately assess the value. As you can see, there are a few things that do not affect the sale price of your home, such as what you paid for it or how much you need to get out of it, among a few other things. The value of your property is based on what a buyer is willing to pay and what a seller is willing to accept. Buyers usually make these decisions based on other sales of similar properties in the same area. Getting the right price can be accomplished by requesting a comparative market analysis, or a CMA, for the property from a licensed realtor like myself. A CMA will compare your home to other similar homes in the area that have recently sold, normally within the past few months. If you do decide to do this yourself, make sure that you're comparing homes with similar square footage, number of bed and bathrooms, and other amenities, and make sure they're in a close vicinity, since the closer they are, the more comparable they are. The CMA should give you a value range in which to determine your asking price. Your next tip is to be prepared to work with buyer agents and consider paying them a buyer agent commission. Now, you may be thinking that by selling your home by owner, that you would avoid paying any commissions at all. But let's take a quick look at this. If you're not familiar with how real estate commissions work, here's an example. When a home is listed for sale, the listing agent charges a sales commission. In this case, let's say 6% of the sale price, which is common, but there is no set standard. When another agent brings a buyer to purchase the property, that agent is typically paid out of the listing commission paid by the seller. This amount is typically half of the listing commission, which in this example, 3% would go to the listing agent and 3% would go to the buyer agent. In a case of a for sale by owner, you are basically acting as listing agent, so you're saving yourself the 3% from the listing side. Now, you could try to find a buyer without an agent and avoid paying any commissions at all. And in theory, this does sound great, but in reality, you would be limiting your number of qualified buyers to only those without agents. And this would drastically reduce the number of potential buyers. Another option would be to negotiate for the buyer to pay their own agent. But most buyers don't expect to incur that cost, and it could affect the offer that they submit, or they may just avoid offering it all. Now, I do get it. You are trying to maximize what you're trying to net from the sale of the property, and you're hoping not to pay any commissions. But most qualified buyers do work with agents, and that's where a bulk of your prospects are going to come from. So in the end, it may be worth it to offer a buyer agent commission. Keep in mind that there are no set commissions and can be negotiated with the buyer agent as either a percentage of the sale or even a flat commission amount. But you're going to want to determine that number before advertising the home. The next tip will be to market your property. Now, marketing your property can come in many forms. And if you elect to use a real estate agent, they should have a marketing plan in place. This normally begins with entering the property in the MLS, since nearly 95% of potential buyers find properties online first, and the MLS feeds into a great number of these sites, such as Zillow and Realtor.com. If you're using an agent, they can market your home by installing yard signs, implementing an open house schedule, social media strategies, and advertising to your community with mailers and flyers. In the case of our office, we do have reverse prospecting strategies with other agents. Most experienced agents have already incurred the cost of the signage up front and have marketing strategies in place that can be easily implemented as part of their listing package. If you elect the for sale by owner route, you can expect to incur some additional costs in buying your for sale signs and open house signage. You also need to set a time aside to coordinate and advertise your open house. Since you'll want to advertise online, one of the biggest sites is Zillow. So make sure that you're advertising there. And there's a number of other sites specifically for sale by owner properties. Now, keep in mind that only properties listed in the MLS will be displayed on Realtor.com. And you can pay the extra cost of using a listing service, or in some states, a realtor could be utilized just for putting the property on the MLS. The key here is consistency and getting the maximum exposure. So the more you can promote your property, the better the chance of finding that buyer. The next step is to review, negotiate, and accept offers from potential buyers. Now, whether you're selling by owner or with an agent, I strongly recommend that you become familiar with the offer to purchase contract, as it states the offer price, the due diligence amounts, earnest money deposits, and a lot more. And once it's signed by all parties, it's a legally binding document. Not understanding a part of the contract could be very costly. Once you receive an offer or offers, you'll want to review and understand each one. In the event that you have the help of an agent, they can help you review and understand the contract and help negotiate for the final offer. If you're selling yourself, that will be left to you to understand and negotiate the offer with the buyer. With that being said, from the beginning of the transaction to the very end, there are lots of opportunities for negotiation. Offer amounts, closing dates, requested repairs, and a lot more are always open to negotiation. A buyer's agent is there to look out after the best interests of their buyer, and an experienced agent could steer negotiations that would benefit the buyer. In this situation, having an experienced person to negotiate on your behalf may be very beneficial. Okay, so now that you've marketed your home and have found a buyer, negotiated the final sales price, and completed the required contracts and documents, the next step is to work with a real estate attorney. Their function is to help with document preparation, title search, title transfer, deed recording, and transferring of funds to appropriate parties by the closing date in the contract. Transactions can be very complicated and can have substantial financial risk involved. So I do not recommend trying to complete a real estate transaction on your own. Some states, like our state of North Carolina, requires that a real estate attorney handle the transaction. Now, if you're representing yourself as a for sale by owner, they can be a great resource to ensure that the transaction goes smoothly and answer any questions along the way. Now, keep in mind that while this is not an exhaustive list, these are a few items that we feel are important when selling your home. So whether you decide to hire a real estate professional or if you feel confident enough in selling it yourself, most of these items will need to be addressed. Now, if you reach this point, you may be ready to get the process started. But if you're in the Charlotte area and you're still not sure, I do invite you to give us a call. My information is going to be in the description below, and we'd be happy to discuss the process with you. If it happens that you're not in the Charlotte area, give us a call and we can refer a great listing agent near you. Now, if you've liked this content, please remember to like and subscribe and leave a comment below. I hope you found this information helpful, and we look forward to hearing from you.